There is a divine human principle of life, which if we follow faithfully, would result in endless blessings to us. This principle, as you may have already guessed, is found in the fourth commandment. Let's listen to the wording. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The principle is simply this. We keep the Sabbath because God first rested. He set the example of resting. Then he requires that you and I follow his example. You see, this principle teaches us humility in the sense that it tells us we cannot set an example for God. It is God who sets examples for us. Let's look at another example. 1 John chapter 4 verse 19. We love him because he first loved us. God demonstrated love, then he calls upon us. Show that kind of love to me and to your fellow man. Again I say, this divine human principle will produce endless blessing in the lives of those who practice it. Let's look at another example of God setting the example. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. The standard of forgiveness that God requires of us is based on the way God forgives. And so in this third example, we are to forgive because God forgives. And how does God forgive? Fully, freely, and holds no grudges. Let me review, my listening friend. We keep the Sabbath. We rest on that holy day because God set the example. We love because God first loved us. He set the example. We forgive because our God is a forgiving God. In all you do, my listening friend, apply this principle as you keep the Sabbath holy. Remember, God set the example and requires that you and I follow. He set the example in love, and he calls us to follow. He set the example in forgiveness. He calls us to follow. In all that you do, follow the example of your Savior. Happy Sabbath. May the Lord doubly bless you and sweetly bless your children.